citizens of Pakistan, it is with feelings of greatest happiness and emotion that I send you my greeting. August the 15th is the birthday of the independent and sovereign state of Pakistan. It marks the fulfillment of the destiny of the Muslim nation, which has made great sacrifices in the past few years to have its homeland.
What you just heard was an integral part of our history, but many sacrifices were made by our forefathers to get us to this point. How did it all exactly happen? Let's find that out.
1857, the War of Independence. The British were beginning to assert dominance on the native Indians. As a direct reaction, the Muslims and the Hindus of the subcontinent formed an alliance and revolted against the British. The foreigners with their armies and extensive arsenals stopped the revolt with ease. After this, India came under the direct rule of the British Crown. The Crown believed that primarily the Muslims had initiated the revolt against the British rule. For that reason, they put all the blame on the Indian Muslims and took most of the revenge from them. The Hindus, on the other hand, joined hands with the new government and became well-educated and prosperous. This caused a permanent crack in the Hindu-Muslim rift, since although the Muslims thought that the Hindus were fighting with them, it was only the Muslims who were paying the price. This chain of events opened the eyes of the Muslims, and they began to realize that only their independence, based on the ideology of the two-nation theory, was the solution to their problems.
1885, Indian National Congress.
After the War of 1857, the British realized that their policy to rule over by force was no longer beneficial in India. Thus, they decided to win over the people. They wanted Indians to be part of the political affair.
During these fragile times, an ex-civil service servant, Mr. A.O. Hume, created a new political party, the Indian National Congress, which was said to be a platform for the Indians by the Indians.
1905 till 1911, the partition of Bengal and its reversal. The province of Bengal, being hard to administer, was divided into two portions, one having the Muslim majority, East Bengal, and the other being dominated by the Hindus, West Bengal. It received a favorable response from the Muslims as they thought that it would liberate them socially and economically, although the Hindus did not accept this, as it harmed their monopolies and exclusive hold over the whole of Bengal. They called it a deliberate attempt by the British government and they pressured them to take back the decision. As the British heavily favored their Hindu ally, the partition of Bengal was reversed, much to the sorrow of the Muslims. The Muslims of India had appreciated the step and started turning in the favor of the British. But the British soon gave in against the increasing pressure of the Hindus, which helped the Muslims to realize the importance of standing on their own feet and to organize themselves politically.
1906, All India Muslim League.
After the creation of the Indian National Congress, it had shown clear that its interest was to safeguard the rights of Hindus alone. Congress leaders adopted a revolutionary policy to establish Hindu Raj in the subcontinent under the appearance of a national movement. The prediction of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan soon proved to be the fact that Hindus and Muslims are two different nations who have two different ideologies. The Muslims of India were greatly disappointed by the anti-Muslim agenda that the Congress seemed to have adopted. The events following the partition of Bengal and the Hindi-Urdu controversy strengthened the need of the Muslims to organize themselves politically as a separate community. The birth of the All India Muslim League at Dhaka on 30 December 1906 came as an expression of that necessity.
1935, Elections. Major events around the world led to the independence of the subcontinent from a long period of colonial rule. After a lot of political struggles between the Hindu and Muslim parties, including the Nehru Report, the 14 points of Quaid-e-Azam, and the Round Table Conferences, the British decided to hold election between the locals. The Indian Congress won the election held in the subcontinent in 1937 and were able to form government in 7 out of 11 provinces, both in Muslim majority and minority areas. This government set a record of bad governance and prejudice against Muslims. All Muslim parties united under the flag of Muslim League because the Muslims felt the need to safeguard their culture and traditions.
1939, World War II.
When World War II started in 1939, the British were fighting against Axis powers. The
The Viceroy of India announced India's involvement without consulting the local representative political leaders. As a result, the Congress ministries resigned.
Thus, the terrifying rule came to an end, which had threatened the Muslim community beyond imagination. Quaid-e-Azam asked the Muslims to observe it as a day of deliverance, with prayers of thanksgiving and gratitude being offered by the Muslims.
1940, the Lahore Resolution. On 23rd March 1940, during the annual session of the All India Muslim League at Minto Park, Lahore, a resolution was passed for the establishment of a separate homeland for the Muslims of British India. This resolution, known then as the Lahore Resolution, was presented by A.K. Fazlul Haq and passed unanimously amongst the crowd. The dynamic leadership of the Qaid and the commitment and devotion of the followers made it possible for them to achieve an independent state within 7 years of their struggle, and that too when the odds were highly stacked against them.
Road to Destiny, 45 till 1947.
As a last attempt to retain a united India, the British government proposed a plan that would be implemented even by the acceptance of just one party. Even though the Muslims accepted the plan, the Congress rejected it, and the British government ended up dropping the idea. After the British backed out and did not put the plan in action, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah announced a direct action day on 16th of August 1946 to show the Muslims' resentment on this decision.
As the right of self-governance was granted to the Indians by June 1947, 3rd June announced the partition of India into two independent dominions, India and Pakistan. Sir Cyril Radcliffe, appointed by the British to lead this undertaking, devised a plan to divide the Indian subcontinent according to their demographics into three portions: India, East Pakistan, and West Pakistan.
On the 14th of August 1947, Pakistan came to being. The efforts and struggles of the Muslims had finally paid off. Muslims and Hindus, along with other religious minorities, undertook the history's largest migration to their new homeland, Pakistan.
Finally, let me tell you, fellow citizens, Pakistan is a land of great potential resources, but to build it up into a country worthy of the Muslim nation, which will require every ounce of energy that we possess. And I'm confident that it will come from all wholeheartedly. Pakistan Zindabad.